We are live again. Live a little bit early today so that the folks in Russia can tune in before it's too late. And I'm going to go back and see if I can find the stream here. I go through this little routine every time. This time I found it pretty quick. Okay, and Corey is first. Well, there you go. Hey, Trevor, you're number 2 today. Sorry about that, Chief. Trevor has lost his touch. So today, obvious answer is Invicta. There you go, Darth Vader. Trevor beat. There you go. So here's the deal. Today we're going to talk about the concept, the bizarre concept of actually wearing your watch. Getting the best watch that you can afford and then actually wearing it. Can you imagine that? So, and when I say getting the best watch for you, obviously it depends on how much you're willing to spend. And I don't think you should go broke spending too much on a watch. I don't think you should go into debt. Craig, GS High Beat or GS Automatic? I wouldn't see it. Either one would be fine. I don't see a downside. I don't think you need the High Beat in particular. I mean, it's a little bit smoother secondhand sweep, but if you really want that, go for the spring drive. Thoughts on Rolex 1016? Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. Absolutely, we will. But the theme here is have a watch that you can actually wear and enjoy. Like right now, I've got my gold stunner on. And somebody asked me, well, why don't you just get a winder for the date 8 and put it on a winder? And first of all, I don't believe in winders. It's extra wear and tear. You're putting wear and tear on a watch when you're not even wearing it. So I don't believe in that concept. And I think if you have a winder, you probably have too many watches. But here's the thing. It's your use case that matters. For me, my use case is I wear the diver most of the time. And so it keeps winding fine with just my wrist movement because they're very efficient as far as winding the spring drive. You don't need as much wrist time to wind those as a typical like automatic Rolex, for example. So it's easy to keep those running with limited wrist time. So that's my go-to all-the-time watch. And then when I'm dressed like I am now, where I need something that'll go under the cuff, especially a French cuff, this nice trim gold stunner does the job for me. And I think it looks sharp. Let me know in the comments section, do you think this looks sharp, this combo here? And there's the side view a little bit. I think it looks sharp. So I'm happy with it. And so whatever meets your needs, your use cases, get a watch that meets those use cases and then wear the damn thing. Enjoy it. Don't save it for later on. Don't leave the plastic on it for the next owner. It's like the little old lady that has the furniture and still has the plastic on it. Okay, so let's go through some of these comments. Rolex 1016. Let's take a look at that. I'll probably only be live for about an hour or so. Rolex 1016. I'm going to Crown and Caliber. They claim they have one. All right, so that's just an Oyster Perpetual Explorer. Oh, they say sold out. 36 mil Explorer. Yeah, I mean, my gosh, what's not to like about that? 2 thumbs up for the Rolex Explorer 36 mil. Absolutely, get a deal on one. Ordered Snowflake and got a call from AD today. So excited. Is it a local AD you're dealing with? And whereabouts? What town are you in? Give us a little more detail on that. And when are you going to pick it up? Timex Marlin is a great dress watch for $200. There you go. Hey, Craig, you didn't answer my question yesterday, pre-ceramic sub or pre-ceramic GMT? I thought I did. I like both, but I would go for the GMT. The GMT might be a little bit thinner. Check the stats on those two and let us know in the comments. I think the GMT on the pre-ceramics was a little bit thinner, which would be a plus. And also you got the GMT functionality. You give up some dive depth, but how many of us dive that deep? I mean, now if you need that, get the sub. Absolutely. But most of us, I think I would go for the GMT. That's what I did wear for many years. It was a GMT. I had one with the all black, whatever you call the 24-hour doodad, bezel, whatever. I had the all black, and then I also had the blue and red one. I had both. The blue and red one I had the oyster bracelet. The all black had the Jubilee. Okay. How much you sold your snowflake for? The snowflake sold for $4,750. And I don't mind telling you, I paid $5,000 for it. So I lost a little bit on it, but I enjoyed it, and I made enough on the YouTube videos I did about it and all to make up the difference. So I really didn't lose on it. It was a prop. It was a tool for me. Okay. Everything's a tool for me. Combo looks spot on, Craig. There you go. Looks very elegant and sharp. Okay, Corey. Yeah, $4,750 exactly. And the guy's very happy with it. And by the way, he took the bracelet off and put a leather strap on it. And he says it's like it's not even on his wrist. It's just so lightweight. I mean, he loves it, which is good. I'm glad it went to a good home. He's in Texas. He's a doctor. Happy holidays, Craig, from Naples, Florida. Quick sidebar question. You mentioned your one ideal watch would be a Rolex Datejust. What would your specs be? Stainless steel fluted, Jubilee, bracelet, oyster. Okay. I would go with the white gold fluted bezel if it's in your budget, and the Jubilee. If not, yeah, I'd go with the smooth bezel and the oyster, or an engine turn bezel. You can get the engine turn bezel with the Jubilee. Also, that works. Broadcasting from old people's home. There you go. That's where we are. The home of the old people. And by the way, I'm getting fewer of the negative comments than I was getting. Some people are actually starting to come around and are actually starting to agree with those of us that are right. So that's good news. So we can focus more on the positive. We don't have to focus on educating the trolls quite as much because some of them are coming around. Some of them are a little bit slow, but some of them are coming around. Are non-in-house movements deal breakers? Depends on the watch you're talking about. If you're talking about a real affordable watch, I mean, it doesn't matter. But if you're talking about like a Tudor, I wouldn't even buy the Tudor to start with. I don't care if it has the in-house movement or not. I would just skip the whole Tudor deal. But tell me what watch you're talking about. Is the Rolex price still free diving? I think they're getting soft. I think there's going to be some people caught holding the bag. I got my snowflake for $39.05 from AD. Shall I consider this as a good deal? Hell yeah. Is it brand new? You got a brand new snowflake for $3,900? That is that's steal territory. That you did fantastic. If it's the new one with the 2017 or newer dial, I mean, I don't care if it's brand new or not. If it's got the 2017 or newer dial with the Grand Seiko at the top, and it's a snowflake and it's in great shape, $39.05 is a steal, new or used. Good move. I'm all for people getting deals, man. Thoughts on homage watches in general? I said that I'm terrible with names on these watches. That one we talked about, the Gannard, is it Gannard or whatever it is? The one that's a really high quality sub homage. I think that would be a good idea. That or a Steinhardt, if you want to buy something in that price range. If you're going to go much more money than that, you can get a used Grand Seiko. We saw a nice one yesterday for around $1,500. Now, it's the 9F quartz movement, but that's a hell of a movement. And you save a lot of money on servicing costs. And you get a dead accurate watch. So we saw a real nice 36 mil one of those for like less than $1,500, steel and gold. That was a hell of a watch. So yeah, there's some deals out there. I gotta commend you guys for looking for deals and not paying all the money for a steel sport Rolex. I'm laying in the mom's basement and eating dill chips and drinking Mountain Dew. Dill chips, that's good. That's mixing it up a little bit. That's a good move. Thanks for enjoying your channel and taste. I'm a Bostonian, Naples Winters. Yeah, I did Winters in Sarasota for almost 15 years. I was there for 1 month last winter. Don't know if I'm going to make it down there this year or not, but next year I'm definitely planning on it. I love Sarasota. Share your love for old world charm and class. Cheers, Paul. There you go, Paul. Craig, you have looked at the Rolex Datejust 41 with the Wimbledon or blue dials. They're only 11.7 thick. The case was reshaped from the Datejust 2, much better. Exactly. Yeah, the Datejust 2 I would definitely pass on. But depending on your size of your wrist, if the Datejust 41, I would only recommend if you have like a 7.25 inch or bigger wrist. If your wrist is smaller than 7.25 inches, I would bump down to the 36 mil. The 36 mil is a great watch. This fad, I call it a fad, this huge watch fad, they don't look attractive. If I put a huge watch on my wrist right now, it would ruin the whole suit, the whole outfit. It would just ruin the whole thing. And by the way, I bought this tie in 1978, brand new. One of my oldest ties, 1978. Most of you all weren't even born. The brand new 2018 production. Well, that's a hell of a deal. I have my Snowflake on eBay for $4,800. Bought an ultra thin gold piece and need to make room. What gold piece did you buy? Hi, Craig. When are you gonna upload footage on the new? I haven't gone and looked at the Omegas yet. I got to go to Little Treasury. It's about an hour and a half drive from here. So I got to figure out a time to go there once he's got everything totally set up. He's got them in stock, and he's still working on the display. But at some point, I'm going to go over there and we're going to shoot some videos. But I can't tell you how soon that will be. It might not be for a week or two. He's still dragging his heels on getting the Grand Seiko display finished, the new Grand Seiko display, because that's when I want to go. I want to do both at the same time. But he's dragging his heels a little bit on that whole new setup he's putting in for Grand Seiko. Picked up an Air King 34 mil for $1,200. Cool watch and great price. Wow. Yeah. Absolutely. What bracelet is on that Air King? And what year is the watch? I think a 34 mil Air King is okay. I don't see a problem with that. You make good points in your videos. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Just ordered GS High Beat Diver from Little Treasury. Just waiting them to get 2 extra links for my 9-inch wrist. Wow, Clay. You're rocking the wrist size. Went with the High Beat Diver over the spring drive because of the case size. Wow. Are you talking about the High Beat that's like a 600 meter monster, that's a hell of a watch. But you can rock that with that 9-inch wrist, absolutely. I need Clay on my security detail. I bet you he could snap some necks and take some checks. I'm one of those that start to like you. I love your live shows. Keep it up. Okay. All right. David Williams, Logan. Here in the wintertime now, I can do more live streams because some other parts of the business slow down a little bit. So, but I'm going to try to get some more people doing some live streams too, some more, so that we can keep these kinds of things going. And of course, Sarah's show is 10 o'clock tonight, 10 o'clock USA Eastern Time. Please be there and show some support for Sarah. Okay? They've got 33 people watching right now. I want all 33 of you to come back 10 o'clock Eastern Time, U.S. Eastern Time, for tonight's show. I would pick up SKX, more versatile dial. I'm the same age as your tie, but the tie has aged much better. Uh-oh. JLC ultra thin date, 7.25 millimeter. Wow. Cool. Can you share a picture? You might have to email it to me. My name at gmail.com, CraigShipp@gmail.com. I'll put that in the chat too. Can you send us a picture so we can see that puppy, or just a link to a similar one on the web so I can share it? Sounds like it might be a beauty. Here's an idea for a live stream. A live stream shopping live for a watch under such and such. There you go. We do that a little bit in this live stream. It's an oyster bracelet. Picked it up in Bahrain. Wow. 1983. Cool, Andrew. Does it run okay? Okay. And there's somebody else asked me a question. I'm trying to think what the heck it was. There was a question I was going to answer. By the way, let's do a time check while we're waiting here. Oops, I'm wiggling the table again. Now I'm going to focus on the Grand Seiko here. Let me see. Focus on this. Stop moving that table. Yeah, it's a little bit better focus. So there you go. There's that silky smooth secondhand. And I'll tell you, the watch is holding up good. I banged it a couple of times the other day. I'm usually not real clumsy with my watches, but I banged it a couple of times the other day, and I was thinking, man, I probably did some damage. But then I looked at it later, and it looked fine. I didn't see any real new stuff on it. So it's holding up to everyday use. Runs like a dream. Lots of older, cool Rolex for great price in Bahrain. That's good to know. Problem is, it costs a lot of money to get there. I think the 36 mil and 34 mil Rolexes, you can get deals because all the people want these bigger watches, right? They're all going through this big watch craze. And so you can get some deals on those watches. And I think they're a better watch in a lot of ways. Shame Omega doesn't make Speedy reduced anymore. I don't know what you mean by that, Darth Vader. What do you mean by that? There was somebody asked me that I said I would address during the show. Now I can't remember what in the hell it was. If anybody can think of the question that I was going to address in the show, put it in the chat. I'm looking at a Datejust two-tone, 1977, 16013 with a brown strap for 36. All right, let me know if we get live. Let me know. I've got a signal here that we're live. Let me know in the chat if we're back live again. That was really weird. It just went offline. Back online. There you go. That was different than last time. This time, the Video Pro just went offline and then was ready to relaunch. I didn't even notice it. So I didn't have to restart the unit this time, but I had to restart the broadcast. But that was a horse of a different color altogether, what happened there. Damn. This is getting to where this is definitely a reliability issue here. And I think it might be the Video Pro. Hopefully they'll push out another software update and they'll fix this. I'm trying to broadcast at 5.3 megabits per second, 1080p is what I'm trying to do, which is kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. I could back it down to 720p, but the quality wouldn't be nearly as good. So, all right, so let me catch up on the comments here. That being said, the answer is GS if you got the dollars. Yeah, but you can get some good deals on some GSs. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Back online, Omega Speedmaster or Rolex Explorer Polar. You know, everybody's enamored with the Polar nowadays. They're like, that's the latest thing. That's the comer and all this. I never liked the Polar that much. I never liked the white dial on a sport watch. I just was not a fan of that. I'm still not. So now I would not buy the Speedmaster either. I wouldn't buy either one of those. So that's where we are on that. I would rather buy an Explorer 1 than the Polar and save some money. Okay, thoughts on Tesla. What car do you drive? I drive a Prius, a Toyota Prius that I bought new in 2004. Runs great. It's only got about 120,000 miles on it. Runs great. Garage kept since new. No, I would not buy a Tesla. I would just buy another Toyota if I had to buy a Toyota. And the Prius has been bulletproof reliable. Gets almost 50 miles to the gallon. Has a great range, which I like. I can go more than 400 miles on a tank of fuel, which is a big plus. And I can put all my gear in the back, including my Segway if I need to take it with me. I can fit that right in the back nicely. And the seats folded down. Okay, what's your opinion on the new Tudor GMT Pepsi? Pass on Tudors. Tudors are a non-starter. Just do not pass go, do not take $200, and do not buy a Tudor. Aliens shut you down for, there you go. What do you think about a no-date Submariner as a do-everything sport watch? The GS Diver is a little too big for my wrist. I like the no-date, but I would get a pre-ceramic. I don't like the case on the maxi case. So I would go with the older one with the better case design. Or even just go with a older GMT Master. That's what I would do in that case. Sent you an email on the gold dress watch I snagged. Okay, let me check that. Check that email. Okay. All right. Take a look at this Jaeger LeCoultre. All right, let's share the screen. Look at this beauty. Yep, it's thin, all right. I like it. I like the case design. That is nice. Positively. So what kind of a deal did you get on that? If you don't mind sharing. What did you pay for that puppy? That's a nice puppy. Now here's a Patek Philippe. From 1972. Here's a Patek. I'm just not a fan of the square case, but you know, Tiffany and Company, that's cool. I'd have to see it in person, but I'm not a fan of square watches. But it looks nice. It probably is nice. I'd have to see it in person on the Patek. But that's a hell of a deal for $4,200. Okay. All right. So, okay, let's see. Let me see here. I sent my Tudor. Let's see. Exciting news. I'm trading. I got to get caught up on the comments here. Give me a second here. No date. Okay, answered that. Sent you an email. Got that. Omega 2502.2 or 0.3 Railmaster. I would have to see those watches in person. I've never seen a Railmaster in person, so I can't. I'm not going to comment on something that I haven't seen. But from what I've seen and heard so far, I like what I'm hearing and seeing about the Railmaster. But I got to see one. I can tell you about the GMT if you want. Okay, Speedmaster reduced. No, but exciting news. I'm traveling in a ball and a Tudor. I'm trading in. I'm sorry. A ball and a Tudor for the GS Diver in titanium. Good move. So excited. I just don't want a watch that runs slow. Have you heard of any slow running spring drives? Not yet. I haven't. Nope. They either run a hair fast or just spot on, right on. Dog watch, like every other two. Yeah, get rid of the Tudors. Ouch. Is Craig gay? He is very sassy, ABD, sophisticated, very unique if he is straight. I am very unique. That's correct. I am very unique. I have sent my Tudor to be fixed. Problems with the date. No half link and difficult to size. I might say, yeah, get out of that thing. My gosh, get rid of the Tudors. Tudor watches do not have a good resale value unless vintage that works well. Exactly, they're not going to sell well, but get out of them while you can. At least some people want them right now. I mean, get out while the getting is good. Same thing with those high-dollar sport Rolexes that you paid too much money for. Get out of them while you can. Do you think Bitcoin will below USD 3K in the next week or so? I don't know when it's going to hit bottom. It might take a month to get down to lower numbers. I don't know how long it's going to take. But the longer and the more painful it is for the weak hands, the better for the strong hands. Because we'll get rid of those weak hands. And then we can take their Bitcoin. See here. The Bitcoin will be transferred from the weak hands to the strong hands. That's how this works. Okay. Does any wait. Okay. Does anyone else make a spring drive besides Seiko? Not really. There were a couple made by Piaget, I think, but no, not really. Yeah, and I loved it when it was released. I don't know. The problem will get fixed for free, but it's tainted for me. Yeah, I'd get rid of Tudors. Tudors are a bag of hurt. Here's my Speedmaster. Click on the pictures. Oh my God. Is that the anniversary watch? I haven't seen it. I've never seen it that angle. If that's the one, that's probably the one that I sold to my friend Paul, the 125th anniversary. Yeah, that's the watch. I had that watch many years ago, and I sold it to my friend Paul Faupel, who also has the red sub that I sold him. That's one ugly watch, but it's a cool watch, but one ugly watch. Okay. For the gold JLC brand new, I paid $11,000 out the door. Okay. Interesting. I've heard of the date issues. Want a Rolex GMT Pepsi, but I don't have the coin for it. Wanted to get the closest for me. Yeah, get rid of those Tudors. For my Speedmaster, okay, there we go. Isn't it Rolex quality? No, it's not Rolex quality. Tudors are junk. Get rid of the Tudors, guys. My goodness, people. Why do you keep beating your heads against the wall with these Tudors? Let's see here. Disappointed I have to send it back. Okay, good. Okay. You can buy mine, Danny. Please explain the Tudor hate. They're marginal watch. Don't even think about a Tudor. Just get the Tudors out of your minds, people. Get rid of them. Sell them, liquidate them, anything you can do. You can buy a much better watch for the same amount of money. You can buy a freaking Grand Seiko for that kind of money. My people in the chat have bought them. There's one for $1,400 right now on eBay, a nice watch. Get a nice watch. Don't saddle yourself with a dog. Tudor in-house movement is not. No, it's not. Yes, resale is also soft. You shouldn't be reselling your watches. You shouldn't have bought it in the first place. But yes, now that you're stuck with the Tudor, yes, you got to resell it. But next time, buy something decent so you don't have to resell it. For gosh sakes, people. All this churning of watches, buying and selling of watches is costing you money. Even if you so-called break even, you lose money. Because you're wasting your time and effort and all of this stuff, and you're paying commissions, and you're doing this and that. By the time it's all said and done, you've lost money. What's the weight of that Speedy? It's a beast. The 125th anniversary Speedy was a beast. Did your GMT Masters ever require more frequent servicing compared to the Submaster? No, you don't have to service any Rolexes. You do not have to service a Rolex. Just wear it. Do not service it. If it ever does give trouble, and that's very rare, take it and have it serviced. But generally speaking, you will not have to do any servicing, unless the watch has been abused and is in bad shape to start with. I'm talking about watches that are in good shape. You shouldn't have any problem with them. Now, you buy a used watch that's had 5 owners, that's been abused, that, who God knows what it's been through. God knows how many times the case has been opened and monkeyed around with. Then it's a can of worms. But if you get a nice, solid, original watch that hasn't been monkeyed with, you're going to be okay. GS rules. GS is just a high-quality watch. GMT Master 2 has no more trouble. That's right. Sell BC and buy Tudors. You talking about Bitcoin? I'm not selling my Bitcoin. No freaking way. If I was going to sell it, I wouldn't sell it now. I would have sold it last fall. Actually, I did sell some last fall, but not much. I took some profits, but not a whole lot. What do you think for 34 millimeter Air Kings? I think depending on your wrist size, that'd be a good move. If your wrist is 7 inches or smaller, probably a good move. Bought a day date. I bought a day date Tudor and it's junk. Absolutely. Don't go that way. $1,400 for a Grand Seiko eBay. Yeah, he shared a link yesterday in yesterday's show. It's a hell of a nice watch. It's still there. It's still for sale. It's a steel and gold. It's 36 mil. It's a 9F movement. Do not pass go. That's right. Have you tried a site called Chrono24 as a watch buying platform? I don't know who you're talking to. I haven't. The last couple of watches I bought 2 Grand Seikos from Steve, and I bought 2 Grand Seikos on eBay. I don't mind buying on eBay because they've got the buyer protection thing. So I handled a Black Bay at a jewelry store recently. It was nice, but it didn't touch the GS Diver in quality, polish, and detail. That's right, Brian. You're correct. Steinhardt GMT or Ganault Ocean Rover. That's a really good question. I think they're both good watches. From what I've heard, I think the Ganault is probably a level up as far as quality. You want the link of the Grand Seiko on eBay? I'll tell you what I'll do for you. I'll search for it. I'll search for it for you. Here's one for $1,300. I don't know what size that one is. Trying to find the exact one. There's a bunch of them. Here's one for $1,299. Again, I haven't clicked on. Let me switch to this view. I haven't clicked on it to see what the size is. That's the watch that I have right there. That one for $4,940. That's the watch that's on my wrist. Here's one for $1,190. I'm going to guess that that's a kind of a small watch. I'm going to guess. Here's one for $4,800 that's steel and gold. That's one of the newer ones, the new dial. See, this is the one like mine, but with a gold face. Those go cheaper. And I like the ivory face much better than the gold, but it might look better in person than it looks in the picture. But those always go for less because people don't like that dial, I guess. Here's one with the new dial for $2,000. Still haven't found the one we're talking about. There it is, right there, $1,498, $1,500. This is the puppy right here. Okay. If you ask me, that's a good-looking watch. Look at the case design. That would disappear on your wrist. It's nice and thin. It looks to be in nice shape. I wonder if that has a screw-down crown. Let's see if it says anything about it here. It's 36 mil, 18 mil lug width. You could probably research that model and see if it has a screw down crown. Just look in here. 115 grams, so it's not that heavy. Anyway, I mean, it's just an example. My God, my goodness. How can you beat that? A heck of a nice watch. Steinhardt and Ganault are absolute junk watch brands. Just buy whatever it is. There is a YouTube based out of Toronto who bought a ceramic Steinhardt diver. It helped him decide that the Submariner was the watch for him. Steinhardt's can be great ways to test the waters. Steinhardt is amazing value for $500. 39 millimeter ceramic sub homage keeps time like a Rolex. Amazing. That GS is ugly. The diver is much nicer. Okay. It's a piece of crap. Save your $500 and save it and put it towards a better watch when you can afford the one you really want. I don't think they're a piece of crap, Chad. I think you're exaggerating there. Let's do a time check. I would not say that they're a piece of crap. I mean, come on. $500. I think you get $500 worth of watch there. I had one. I did a review on it. I sold it, but I did have one. Wasn't terrible. You can't hear me? According to my box here, I'm still streaming. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Testing 1, 2. I know we got a delay, but let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I'm going to start this up here and see. No problem with the audio. I think you're being trolled. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So there you go. 5x5 can hear you. Okay. There we go. Got a bunch of people can hear me. Bunch of people can hear me, but there are also a bunch of people that aren't listening, obviously. And they're still buying Tudors. Oh, you think a Steinhardt's a piece of crap, and people are going and spending thousands of dollars on a Tudor. Are you kidding me? Good day, Craig. Hey, do you miss your snowflake? No, I really don't. I can tell you, I have not missed it. I like this gold stunner. Functions very well. I can read it. It does a better job for dress purposes than the snowflake. The snowflake would have been a little tight under this cuff. Again, your mileage may vary depending on the size of your wrist. Obviously, if you have a smaller wrist, that gives you more wiggle room around the cuff, right? But for me, for my purposes, and that's really the theme of this video, is what works for you. What's going to work for you? For me, this works. It matches the DuPont, okay? Matches that very nicely, okay? It matches, the hardware nicely. So for me, it gets the job done. And then all other times when I'm wearing a sport watch, I'm wearing the GS diver. So it works for me. Let's see here. Nothing wrong with Steinhardt for us, still saving for a Grail. There you go. I can mine. I know you still have the diver and the dress, both nice watches. Yeah, they're getting it. They're getting the job done. Yeah, absolutely, they're getting the job done. I thought were very talented craftsmen, in my opinion. Okay, I'm not sure who, Beggar House, or I'm not sure who that is. Does your diver usually stay fully wound during a normal day? What range does your gauge? It just stays full. It stays penned full. Let's see if it's penned right now. Oh, come on. There we go. See, it's just full. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's pretty much always on full. Even if it runs for like 2 hours now off wrist, it'll probably still be very, very close to full. And then once I put it on wrist for like a half an hour, it'll be topped off again. It's pretty much topped off all the time. And I asked Steve if that's a problem, if it's hard on it in any way for it to stay wound all the time like that. And he said, no, it's not. It's designed to do that. It will not overwind or anything like that. Tudors. Not sure what that is. David is drunk on Mountain Dew. Okay. Do you think a dive watch can make a one watch collection? Depends on how you dress. If you wear shirt cuffs like this, or just normal cuffs, not French cuffs, but shirts, and you want it to go underneath that shirt, I think you're going to be pushing your luck. But if you don't have that issue, then absolutely you can wear it. I could wear mine all the time. If I didn't dress like this, I could wear mine all the time. It's very comfortable. I mean, there's no reason, depending on the watch you get. Of course, I have one that's exceptionally comfortable because of the titanium, because of the design of the case, the design of the lugs, the design of the bracelet. Everything is designed to be super comfortable on wrist. So now, if you buy one of those new Rolexes with the very squared off case and the chunky lugs and all that stuff, that thing's not going to be that comfortable on wrist. It's going to be kind of like an irritant that's on your wrist all the time. It's going to kind of irritate you. That's why I would buy a pre-ceramic with the older case design and get away from that chunky thing. Hello, watching from Mexico. Okay. Jeff Diver, were you thinking of Audrey, Craig? Audrey is fantastic. She's a beautiful young lady. Also, what's your opinion on the micro brand Tissot? I would pass. Bought their marine diver, and it's very nice. Great homage to a sub with a good overall quality for $230. Hey, if it meets your needs for $230, absolutely. Craig, would you consider a plug-in Prius or fully electric Prius? I mean, mine will probably run for another 10 years minimum. So by that time, they'll probably have a really good fully electric, probably by then, 10 years from now, probably almost everything will probably be fully electric. And that would be a good time to get one once they've gotten all the kinks out and they're fantastic and then I would probably still buy a Toyota because Toyota's always been good to me. The bezels are, is it really hard to scratch? Can you do a close-up to see the scratches? No, the bezel's not ceramic on my GS, and it's held up fine. I mean, I've had bezels over the years on GMT Masters and all kinds of watches that were not ceramic, and I've never had a problem with that. I think the ceramic bezels are overhyped. I don't think it matters. And if I did get a little scratch here and there, it wouldn't bother me. So, and no, that's as close as I can get with this camera. But no, it's holding up fine. It's just a non-issue, folks. I mean, my God, there are bigger things in life to worry about than a scratch on your bezel. And ceramic, you can shatter that puppy. And the titanium is holding up great. Titanium is very durable. I live in Florida. The only watches that survive are divers. Well, there you go. There you go. What music, if any, do you listen to when you drive up and down Florida? I hate to admit it, but I listen to podcasts. I don't listen to music. The podcasts really make the time fly by. if you're listening to good podcasts, and I have some good ones I listen to. I use there's a app called Casts, Casts, and you can download them onto there, so you don't have to worry about the internet connection. You can pre-download them. So I'll download 10 hours worth or something, or enough for the whole trip, and then I'll just let that rip, let them play. While the other older Rolex cases are great, the new Maxi cases are still extremely comfortable. No, they're not. You should wear a comfortable watch, Chad. Then you'll know what a comfortable watch is. Get a GS diver like mine and wear it for a day, and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I was wearing those other clunkers. Not even a close call. It is way above Tissot. You should really check them out. I own 2 Tissot Marine Diver, great as daily beaters. Okay. What do you think of the Grand Seiko 9F? They're bulletproof. That's what this is. This be the 9F. Bulletproof. Can you say durable? Checking in from New York for the first time. Thoughts on JLC Master Ultra Thin? Well, we had a gentleman in the chat that bought one recently. I think that's a similar watch. It sounds gorgeous to me. If you want to send me a photo, my name at gmail.com. I'd be happy to pull up the photo. With podcasts, you can learn all the time while traveling. Absolutely. With over 7+ billion people over the world, really wonder what the percentage are of people that spend over $1,000 or more on a watch. It's a very small percentage of people. Are you passing down your watch collection to your kids or grandkids? If you're asking me, I don't really have a collection. Right now I have 2 watches in rotation. And I'm not sure who... I have a will. I'm not sure, what they'll do with them. That's a good question, what they'll do. Let's see here. Which watch would you offer him for graduation budget? For his graduation, budget is not a matter. That's good to have an unlimited budget. Excuse me. Tell me what size wrist the graduate has, and what the graduate likes to do, how the graduate dresses, that sort of thing. Like, for example, if the graduate is going to be wearing suits from time to time, maybe they're in a profession where they're going to be dressing up a little bit, I wouldn't want to get something thick for the same reasons we've talked about earlier. I'd want to get a thinner watch, so in which case I'd probably get a 36 mil Datejust. That's the perfect starter watch. I mean, a steel, all steel, 36 mil Datejust is the perfect all-around do-everything watch. And if the graduate doesn't like that, then probably a spoiled brat, and probably doesn't matter what you get him. Bulletproof, durable, and robust. Yeah, that's the 9F. And the spring drive is pretty rugged, too. What do you think about the new Omega Seamaster 300? From what I've seen so far, I'm impressed, but I don't like the skeletonized hands, but I got to look at them in person, and I'm going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to go do a deep dive, because Steve is now a dealer over at Little Treasure Jewelers. I'm going to go down there and do a deep dive into those things. What size is your Golden GS? It is 35 mil. Some people say 35.5 mil, which I find it to be the perfect size for a dress watch. A lot of dress watches were this size back in the day. This was normal. Before this big watch craze happened, this was a normal dress watch size. Don't buy the Graduate now for Mario. Yeah. Why do you consider yourself a watch enthusiast? 39 millimeter. Do you think I should buy a quartz version of the Grand Seiko and not save for an automatic? I'm not afraid of the quartz versions. I think they're cool, and I like the fact that they're thinner. I like the smooth secondhand on the, I like this diver, and I'm happy with it. But for an all-around watch, I would want something thinner. So in which case I would have to go to the 9F quartz to get a nice thin movement. So I would not be shy at all about getting the 9F. I think it'd be a lifetime watch. Every 3 years or so, you're going to replace the battery, and that's all you're going to do. You're not going to service it or anything. And it's just going to last. Why do I consider myself a watch I'm not. I'm a watch user. That's what I consider myself, a watch user. I used Rolex watches for 40 years. Okay, on a daily basis, usually 2 in rotation. So I would call myself a watch user. I'm not a watch collector. I very rarely have more than 2 or 3 watches at a time. And I buy watches and I use them. And I like quality. Do you think it's time to buy more Bitcoin yet? I would not buy until it goes lower, until you really feel comfortable that it has hit bottom. I think we're still on the way down. I think that this bear market is going to continue maybe for months, maybe for 6 months. I think it's going to be a slow process of shaking out all the weak hands. And then I would say buy, when it gets down to $1,500, $1,200, somewhere in there. I think that would be my back the truck up and buy. But I'm not giving financial advice here. And certainly do not buy with money that you cannot afford to lose. That's for sure. The Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean comes in 39.5 millimeter. Could be great for medium-sized whip. That's a pretty big watch. I mean, people have just gone crazy with these watch sizes. I mean, my God, when you consider 39.5 millimeter, they consider that to be small. I mean, that's still a pretty good size watch. I mean, a Submariner's 40 mil. That's a pretty good size watch. Now, here's the thing. When you've got a bezel like that, that does eat into the real estate of the dial. So for example, this watch here, even though it's only 35 mil, because there's not much bezel area, right? The face is still a pretty decent size to read the time, right? So you do give up, when you've got a rotating bezel, you give up a certain amount of real estate, right? For that oversized bezel. But still, 39.5 mil, that's a pretty good size watch if you ask me. Why don't you recommend servicing Rolex watches? Because it wastes your money. Why are you going to give somebody your money for no reason? Wait till it gives trouble. And that might be 25 years, okay? I've got a whole video on that, running the numbers and all. You save a ton of money if you keep your money in your pocket and don't give it to Rolex to service your watch or anybody else to service your watch. Just wait until it needs it and then do it. They're not going to charge you any extra just because you waited longer. Rolex is going to charge you the same amount. If you wait 20 years and service your Rolex, they're going to charge you the same amount as if you service it after 5 years. Now, what does that tell you? Okay, Craig is a watch user while Archie is a watch abuser. Now, I think Archie takes care of his watches. He's just like one of these collectors that buys a watch and puts it away, puts it off in a box somewhere, and then doesn't use it. Why do you think it will go lower? Are you talking about Bitcoin? Because people are selling. The weak hands are selling. People are panicking. There's blood in the streets. People are panicking. They don't have any intestinal fortitude. Just emailed you a picture. Okay, let me check. Okay. All right, I guess this one is steel or white gold. I'm not sure. But that just looks like a stock photo. That doesn't look like, somebody's actual watch. But yeah, that's okay. So let's see what else we got here. Well, the Planet Ocean normally comes in at 42 and 45 mil sizes. Yeah, I know. And the Planet Ocean is a beast. I wouldn't wear that thing on a daily basis. Thoughts on the Casio Duro? I'm not sure about that. RYMX 5000. Archie bought the most ugly Daytona you could buy. I saw that Daytona. I didn't really think it was that ugly, but I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy any of the Daytonas. I'd pass on all of them. It's not GS, so it's ugly. Jeez. Planet Ocean is a great choice for a dive watch. Have a 42 mil. Love it. Yeah, I think the 42 mil. I certainly wouldn't go for the 45 mil. My GS is 44 mils, but see, it's titanium. So it's a lot lighter weight. And because of the lug design and the bracelet design and all that, it wears more like a 40 mil or 38 mil. I mean, it like disappears on the wrist. So if I was going to go that big, I would probably look into something in titanium. Just saying. And they do make a few titanium watches, Grand Seiko does. I mean, Omega does. I don't like the Datejust with the oyster bracelet because of the center polished links. Yeah, I'd get one of the older ones. I don't like the newer, what they're doing on the newer ones either. I agree with you on that. Oyster Petrol 36 and exactly. All bright, yeah, exactly. Yeah, or the older ones. It's on the way. Okay. The larger PO. Okay. Yeah. What do you do for a living? Who, me? It's on go to my website, CraigShipp.com. I got a bunch of stuff there about what I do. And so I do a combination of things. I've got a local community website here, Frederick.com, that a lot of local businesses sponsor and pay an annual fee to sponsor that site. And I've got some other sites that are similar to that. And then I also do some other independent video work, and like I've done a lot of stuff for Steve at Little Treasury, some videos and stuff like that. And then I have investments. You invest and save, and your money works for you. I've got real estate investments. So there you go. That's what you do. What do you think of the GS with the? What do you think of the GS with the GMT, the one with the shiny bezel? Can you also shout out to Marek, to impress my fiance? Well, there you go. I like the GS. I like the one you're talking about. I think it looks cool. I considered it, and it has the micro adjustments on the bracelet, which I like. The only reason I bought the diver is I don't really need the GMT function right now because I'm traveling mainly up and down the East Coast of the U.S. I'm in the same time zone. And it has the extension bracelet in addition to the micro adjustments, which comes in handy. But yeah, that GMT is a gorgeous watch. I would not fault you at all. And they do make that in the titanium. Would you pass on the 6265 Daytona? I would pass on any Daytona. How's that Frederick real estate market? It's okay. The market's okay. I wouldn't say it's like crashing or it's like appreciating crazy. It's kind of like going sideways. It's an okay market here. The county itself is growing like crazy, and it is the biggest county in Maryland. It's a huge county. It's like 35 miles long. And the city here is called Frederick, and the county is called Frederick. So, of course, I own Frederick.com. So I think that has quite a future. Craig makes money from companies that sell potato chips to trolls. There you go. Craig, you talk about legibility and low light. How is it reading that dress watch without glasses? No, in low light, I wouldn't be able to read it. Absolutely not. You don't buy something like this for readability. I mean, this is strictly for dress purposes. And typically, when I'm dressed like this and I'm going to meet a client or something like that, I'm not going to be looking at my watch anyway. That'd be very rude, right? So now, if I'm in the car, I'm wearing my glasses anyway. Whenever I'm driving in the car, I'm always wearing my glasses. Okay, and they've got the reading, they're the progressives, right? Because my distance vision is pretty good, but not perfect. So I have some progressives. So when I'm in the car, I can easily read it. Like I can read it right now, fine, right, with the glasses on. But without the glasses, if the light wasn't pretty good, no, I wouldn't be able to read it. But without the glasses, with good light, I would be able to read it. So these are all trade-offs, Everything's a trade-off with watches. Is it Montgomery County? Montgomery County is just to the south of me. Montgomery County borders Frederick County. Do you prefer a strap or bracelet on a dress watch? I like this setup. I mean, I wore a date 8 for years with the gold president bracelet, and that worked also. Obviously, that was fine. So, yeah, I would either go with a date 8 with the president bracelet or something like this. I think this is thinner than the date 8. So this is even easier to go under the cuff than the date 8 was. The date 8 would work, but it was a little tighter. How does Frederick compare to Fairfax County, Virginia, in terms of expanding communities, wealth, etc.? It's very similar. It's probably more similar to Loudoun County, which Loudoun County is the next county out from Fairfax that borders Fairfax County. It's a very affluent county. More rural areas, more farms and stuff like that. Frederick County is very similar to that, but it's becoming more wealthy all the time. It's a big growth area, and there's a lot of money moving up into Frederick County. So, the government keeps growing. No matter who's in charge, it keeps growing, and these lobbyists and all these lawyers and all these people need places to live. So that's what's happening. What's your thoughts on the Casio? I'm not sure what that is. What are you selling? A good question. Is anybody selling anything? Put it in the chat. I'm not selling anything right now, but maybe somebody's selling something. There's nothing like Virginia mountains. You're around some beauty. I know that. Well, I'm right near Camp David, where the president has his presidential retreat. It's very nice here. Very beautiful area. That's why they put the retreat here. Frederick County is a beautiful place, and the city of Frederick has a very nice downtown area. Frederick County has grown like crazy since I moved here. Frederick is about 20 miles north of me. So where are you? You must be in Montgomery County. If the city of Frederick is 20 miles north of you, you must be in Montgomery County, right, Scott? Ryan, okay. 6265 Daytona has almost double in money in the last 18 months. How can you pass on this investment? I don't see watches as investments. I think watches are very poor investments. I did a whole video on that. Go back and watch that video, and you'll figure it out. Which city or town in the Metro D.C. area of Maryland is most comparable in wealth to McLean, Virginia? Bethesda, Maryland would be very similar to McLean, or Chevy Chase, Maryland, both very affluent areas. Potomac is more rural, but it's very affluent. Potomac, Maryland. McLean, Virginia is very wealthy. Exactly. Yes. Washington, D.C., check in. Just south of Germantown. Okay, yeah. So you're Yeah, I know exactly where you are. We have a house in Durwood, Maryland, called the Durwood Estate. I've got a bunch of videos and photos and stuff from that place on my channel here, Durwood Estate. DurwoodEstate.com. That's the URL. DurwoodEstate.com. Do you know what is the best time to buy a house? The deal is made on the buy. Make sure you get a good buy. Offer cash, get a good buy. I'm going to wrap up here pretty soon, but Chevy Chase, yes, very affluent area. Would you pick up a hitchhiker? Depends on what she looks like. Realist me that boat has sailed from 2009 to 2012 was the best time. Okay, rates are almost nothing. Those with cash on hand made a killing. There you go. You can still get good buys now. Sometimes you get people that are desperate to sell quick, and you never know. Sometimes you can get a good buy. That's what you do. All right, well, I'm going to wrap up the show. Are there any other last-minute questions before I wrap? Is it better to buy a house cash instead of mortgage? Yes. Being in debt is not a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't like debt. Go to my website, CraigShipp.com, pull down the More menu, and click on Take Control Downloads. Take Control Downloads. And I got a bunch of inspirational videos and different things on there that kind of tell you how you can kind of take control. Take control. People really think 18-karat watches are so soft and fragile, but women wear 18 or 20 gold all the time for doing dishes. Oh, yeah, they hold up fine. Gold watches hold up fine. I wore the day dates for years and years and years. I mean, 40 years, for God's sakes, I wore them. And they're fine. Cowgirls Live tonight at 10. Tonight at 10 p.m. on this channel. Please tune in. Anybody that's watching, please tune in tonight at 10 o'clock and give Sarah some encouragement in the comments, okay? Give her some encouragement in the comments, because she's going out of her way to do this live show once a week. She's a nice young lady, and she could use some encouragement. I think it's good to see somebody, a youngster like her, taking some initiative, right? So let's give her some encouragement. Tonight at 10 o'clock, Cowgirls Live, here on this station. Would you consider any woman hitchhiking ugly since she is not a GS? Depends on the young lady. If she looks like Audrey, I'll probably stop and pick her up. I'll probably give her a ride. Have you ever owned any regular Seiko divers? I had the SBDC 007. SBDC 007 called the Shogun. It was a fantastic watch. I wore it for 2 years. It was titanium. Really cool watch. Just wasn't that accurate. That's the main reason why I upgraded to the Grand Seiko. Among a few other reasons. I think they will outlast a lot of the nicer, more costly divers. Yes, the SBDC 007 would run for years. It's a very durable movement. It's just not as accurate. It's not that fragile. It's that they get scratched easier. No, they don't scratch that easy. That's a wives' tale. I had day dates for 40 years. They don't scratch any easier. Stainless steel scratches very easily. And you don't have to polish them. That's a wives' tale too. They're fine. They're no problem. Just wear them and don't worry about it. You're talking to a guy that wore gold Rolexes for 40 freaking years, okay? So don't listen to all that malarkey that they're fragile and all that stuff. I'll be there 100%. There you go. Thanks, Sarah. Absolutely. What time is it now? Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yep, just after 4 p.m. Eastern time. So that means it's in 6 hours. Right, if my math is right? 4 plus 6 is 10. There you go. 6 hours from now. Shogun is pretty. Yeah, Shogun that's a hell of a watch. All right, everybody. Thank you again for watching. And I'll see you all back here at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, United States Time, 6 hours from now. We'll see you.